K-L-E-K 102.5 FM.
Good Friday morning, Jonesboro. This is meteorologist Tim Root with your Caleigh 102.5 forecast. Mostly cloudy, a few showers today and tonight. The high temperature around 55 and the overnight temperature about 45. Northeast wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Still a chance of showers over the weekend, mostly cloudy. The high Saturday around 50, 42, 43 Saturday night, and low 50s with mostly cloudy skies Sunday, maybe a stray shower. Jonesboro, that's your Caleigh 102.5 FM weather.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's in isolation after his wife tested positive for coronavirus. The UK government is defending its decision to not yet close schools like many European nations. A 76-year-old man has died in India after contracting coronavirus. And in other news, New Zealand has been marking Friday prayers a year after the Christchurch mosque attacks, which killed 51 people.
It's 9:01.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday the 13th to you, if you believe in all of that. Hope everyone is having a great start to their day. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I have some special guests with me today. Miss Caleigh Parker, who is the executive director of Arrow Adoptions, and we'll definitely get more into that in a little bit. I just have a few announcements, and we also have another special guest, Miss Ashley. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right, and make sure to speak up in the microphone. Alrighty, but I want to give one PSA here. This is coming from Encompass Health, which used to be Health South. Unfortunately, they have had to postpone all of their events, support groups, and community outreach programs just due to the health concerns. And they will let you know when and where everything will come back. So they just have to take precautions because they have other patients they have to deal with as well. So they just want to take all the precautions possible. And also stay tuned to your local news. Follow events on Facebook to see what's happening in your city concerning the different health, the coronavirus. I know that's been the talk of the week. So everybody just pay attention to the news and see what's happening in your area. Okay, so we're going to move on, and Miss Caleigh is going to tell us more about Arrow Adoptions. Let's talk about, first of all, how did you get into this business? How did the vision come? Give us the background.
Okay, first of all, Ms. Quabila, thanks for having us on today. We appreciate it. So Arrow Adoptions, more than a business, we call it a ministry.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I've worked at the Word Baptist on the north side for quite a while, and almost 3 years ago now, a young lady approached me. And I have adopted myself and children that don't necessarily look exactly like me. And so a lady approached me and pretty much said, I'm about to give birth. She had no prenatal care. Okay. And she said, can you adopt my baby at the hospital? Can you come and take the baby? And I wasn't in the position in my life to adopt again at that time.
Okay.
And so I said, I cannot, but I want to help you through your adoption path. Okay. And so the first Arrow baby was born, as we would call, and it was a beautiful experience. And at that time, I realized the need for private adoption in Northeast Arkansas. Okay. There are ladies in pregnancy crisis and that aren't able to raise their child, and they need another option besides the Department of Human Services, besides foster care. Okay. And they want to have a say, and they want to be involved in the baby's life, and you can do that through open adoption. Okay. And so that's where Arrow Adoptions, it was born out of realizing, that was the first mom. I've worked with up to 20 moms at this point. And so, and that's, here local in Northeast Arkansas and the surrounding areas. And so, so that's this past March, we've got to develop a program. We can't just, willy-nilly this thing. And so March 1st is when Arrow Adoptions launched as a nonprofit. And so to Northeast Arkansas's first adoption program. And so that's kind of where it got started.
All right, so let's start with the foundation, your mission statement, and how did you begin to develop and build upon this program, this agency?
Well, the beginning of our mission statement is to make sure that we're showing the love of Christ in whatever that we do. And the mission statement, it starts with helping children in need of domestic adoption finding a loving home. So domestic adoption means here in the United States. That's a domestic adoption. International adoptions overseas. Okay. So we deal with domestic adoptions here in the United States. The next bullet point is that we assist birth parents in making an informed decision for their child's future. Now, it goes way beyond adoption, Ms. Quabila, because we want to make sure that if they decide to parent, they come to us, they want to know about adoption, but they decide to parent, we're there to support them as well. So they can make a parenting plan with us, or they can make an adoption plan with us. And so we want to see families succeed. And no matter what age that child is, we don't just do newborns. Whatever age that child is, we want to make sure to see that family succeed. And then the third bullet point of our mission statement is about equipping families to be committed and effective parents to adoptive children. You don't just take the baby home and you pretend it's yours for the rest of its life. There is a level that we believe the birth mom should be involved throughout the child's life. We believe that the intention is for the parents to be involved, for that child to have a healthy life. And so we help the adoptive parents know how to navigate this. It's not an easy relationship. There's not a book you can open and say, this is how it is. And so we triage each situation and help through that. And then the last part of our mission statement, Arrow Adoptions is committed to seeking God's will and working with each and every family's unique involvement in the adoption process. So whatever it may be, some families come to us, birth parents, and DHS is knocking on their doorstep. Drugs may be involved in their situation, and there may be prison time, there may be jail time. We can help them still make a plan in that. And so we want to empower parents to know how they can have a part of their process. Okay,
that is awesome. And so during the process, from the initial, referral or engagement with the pregnant individual or the families, through the birth, through the end process, how involved are you?
I'm 100% involved. Every birth mom, every expecting mother needs me on a different level. And so I assess the level that she wants and she wishes and she needs me to be there. I initially make the first contact. We may have, there may be Northeast Arkansas all around, I get referrals from all over the place. And so they may contact me initially, and I call that mom, text that mom. We have a text line. And she may text me, and I say, where are you comfortable meeting? Sometimes that's Starbucks, sometimes it's KFC, sometimes it's at her house. And so I go where she's comfortable meeting with me. And from that process, sometimes she gives birth in a week from that process. Sometimes she gives birth 35 weeks from that first initial meeting. And so, I may go to doctor's appointments if that's what she wishes. I may provide transportation. And then I'm there in the birth. I have seen many babies been born, and then I stay with that mom and I help mediate at the hospital, because it's not I don't want to say natural, but nobody really knows how to handle that. Your baby's leaving your room, coming back, you need to sign this paper, and so I'm there through that process. But it doesn't end at the hospital. We always want to make sure, Ashley was one of the first moms that I was able to work with, and that started 2 years ago. And so we have a joke that no one's discharged from our program. And so, it's more about life on life, and just saying, hey, you're in this place. Let's not stay in this place. Okay. Here are some resources. We're passionate about higher education, whether that be cosmetology, whether that be getting your master's degree. Let's make a plan for that.
Okay, so it's not just about, okay, I'm having a child, I don't know how to take care of it, or I'm in a situation, I'm going to let someone adopt it, and then I'm just going to go on with my life. And you try to help the individuals depending on where they are and what their needs are. Help them, okay, let's see how we can help you get on a track to get in a better situation maybe than where you think you are, where you are.
Correct. It's more than just placing this child for adoption.
Okay.
It is, let's love on the birth mom. Let's love on the birth parents. Let's figure out a plan for your life. And if they want that, some mothers choose, to not go down that path and continue living that life. But if they want help, we're here to help them.
Right. And I can imagine that's a horribly hard decision. And we want to definitely hear from Miss Ashley. Again, you're welcome to share as much or as little as you would like about your story, and we want to hear from you. What would you like the audience to know? So start introducing yourself and where you're from, and tell us about it, as much of your story as you would like.
My name is Ashley. I'm from Chicago. I moved down here. Caleigh brought me down here. I've done 2 adoptions. So the first one is when we first met, and then the second one, I was on a path where I was going to redo everything with my life and make a lot of different steps, and I found out that I was pregnant a month after I made this big move to do all this stuff. And so I was depressed at first, and I actually reached out to Caleigh the day I found out that I was pregnant. And it was rough for me for the first 20 weeks. Like, I didn't know if I even wanted to go through with the birth and stuff. And she stayed by my side through the whole thing, including doctor's appointments. And then when I reached my 20 weeks, I got to meet my family, wonderful family. I love them so much. And after meeting with them, my experience changed. And it was just, we always chose that it was going to be an open adoption and stuff. And we made the hospital plans, and I was very open with them. And, I was nervous at first. It's normal. Mm-hmm. But I want to say that hospital, the family that I had chose had wanted this, they were waiting for this baby for a very long time. And that hospital moment, the moment of labor, to see the adoptive father behind me so happy to see this little girl come into the world, and then to see the tears of the mother who never left my side the whole pregnancy and not even in the hospital, to see the looks on their faces, it was a very beautiful experience. And so like I said, I started the pregnancy depressed. I was thinking about doing an abortion, and I'm very, very glad that I decided to choose life. And even though I didn't decide to parent because I wasn't ready to mentally, I was so blessed to be able to give this family such a wonderful gift that they've been waiting for. And it was just a wonderful experience. Caleigh was great. The lawyer that we work with, Jennifer, amazing. And Jennifer and Caleigh, the 2 things that I love so much about them is it's not business. Like the hospital, with the experience in that hospital, I saw the baby. My initial was only to see the baby one time. Okay. But I was having a hard time. I was dealing with postpartum with other stuff that I had going on. And so the adoptive family, they were very supportive with me even after I went into labor. I saw the baby, she brought the baby to me more than once. Jennifer was in there. It wasn't an adoption that happened, but it was more like a family had been built. Okay. And so that's what I love about them. Caleigh, Jennifer, even though Jennifer was the lawyer for them, and Jennifer's never left my side. I worked with her for the first one too. Okay. And they've never left my side. They've been, like she said, it goes beyond. Once you sign that paperwork, it's beyond. And I'm still in contact with the adoptive family. She sends me pictures. We're friends on Facebook. There's possible talk of maybe, you know, I had told the adoptive family I wanted open adoption just as far as pictures, because I was curious to see how she looks. And the adoptive mother pulled me to the side and, you know, let it be known that if you change your mind, I just want to let you know that the option of you and your child's, because I have another daughter myself, that the option of you seeing her will always be there. And so we're working on getting an actual visit set up sometime. Everybody's sick in that household. When everything's down, it's going to be a visit. But it was a very beautiful moment, and I encourage women that when you are pregnant, it's not the end of the world, and there's more to end the pregnancy. You don't have to choose abortion. You can choose adoption. You will grow, and it's changed. Me doing this last adoption from where I was last year to this year is amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. We hear so many stories of women and families facing infertility issues and expensive treatments and things still just not working, and they really truly would love to have a child in their life and provide for a child. And so adoption is the way to go for those families. I'm sorry. Go ahead and talk about, I see that you wrote a book.
Yes.
It's called You Will Always Be the First Piece of Their Story. So talk about that. I'm sorry for coughing, y'all.
It's okay.
Well, it originally started, I had started writing this when I was in the hospital, and I was going through a lot. So I'm better at writing my words out, and it's actually a book that I started for the adoptive family as my gift to them, because words are my best way of expressing things, and I wanted, my story is about, I ended up finishing it so that Caleigh, we went to a rally, and I finished it so that she can read it. And basically I wrote this so that women can see, like in the story, you see my raw emotions, you see where I talked about giving up and how upset I was and crying and the depression that I went through. And you see how through my pregnancy, when I chose life, how my story at the end, it changed into a very beautiful thing. And me, myself, changed from the depressing, sad, upset person that I was and didn't know what to do. And then towards the end of the story, you see that I rose above that. And so that's what I want people to see, that pregnancy, it's not the end of your world. Like, there's other options.
And so at this point, do you feel you're able to make some different and better decisions when it comes to, say, career or, I don't know, education or whatever other ventures you would like to try in life?
Yes, currently, I never saw myself working with kids. Everyone around me knows that, but I'm currently working at a daycare.
Okay.
I've helped them out with birth moms that needed just somebody to talk to, and so I've been that support person for them. I'm hoping to start, I'm waiting for my paperwork to go back, but I'm hoping to start at ASU in the fall for social work.
Oh, that's amazing.
So hopefully to join Arrow Adoptions.
That's absolutely amazing. I want to ask Miss Caleigh, going through this process, as you mentioned, it can be very emotionally hard, just hard, for lack of a better word, just hard. And so do you have access to therapists, counselors, individuals who can help the birth moms and then even the adoptive families through the whole process?
Yes, so depending on the insurance and the providers that they have, that's how we figure out who we're going to refer to. Okay. And then depending on their situation and when I get to know them, after their first meeting, I try to assess, and I have different referrals that I give to different people. And counseling is one of the number one things that we don't provide as Arrow, but we resource out.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I can imagine, one, for anyone, even if they are deciding to keep their baby, you find out you're pregnant, depending on where you are in your life, you're like, okay, what is happening?
Yes.
So I can't even imagine what someone is going through who has decided, I'm not quite ready to be a parent. Mm-hmm. Abortion is not an option, and I know there's a family who will love this baby and who will welcome this baby. So just having to come to grips with, okay, I have to make a decision. The pregnancy is happening. Decisions have to be made. It can't always be made the last moment.
Right.
And so your team of doctors, I'm trying to pull up your team of, not doctors, your team of partners. What was the process like getting them on board?
So the partner that we mainly go with is the law firm.
Okay.
So there's a big legal aspect of adoption. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of paperwork and there's a lot of things. We don't ever want anyone to feel like they're just a client file. Mm-hmm. So we try to make that as personal and as less intimidating as possible, because it's hard in a crisis pregnancy to say, go to the law firm and meet with the lawyer, you know. Yes. But Jennifer that we work with, and we're open to all different types of Arrow, you know, can partner with any ethical lawyer working, you know, in NEA. But Jennifer specifically helped me build the program. Okay. And the reason that I work with Jennifer is because I had a bad experience in my first adoption with a lawyer who wasn't equipped to do adoptions. And so 2 years later, after the baby was born, we had to finalize with Jennifer. And so Jennifer after birth would go and we'd go to court 6 days after, and the adoption would be final. So that should have been done in the first adoption, but 2 years later, there we were with no birth certificate. So, so it was a learning experience. But sometimes I look at Jennifer and I say this out loud, and I'm like, only God could have, you know, led me to her, because she's just as passionate about the expecting mothers and the birth families as I am. And so she is willing. She's a foster parent herself, and so her heart is there. And so it didn't take a lot to get her on board with this at all.
All right, so we're going to put a pause right there. I want to say good morning to Mr. Kobe, Mr. Cole Parker is checking in, and Miss Amanda Donovan. Hey, and then there's some other people watching, but I can't see who they are. Thank you all for checking in. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Arrow Adoptions program and setup. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to give us a call or drop a message on our Facebook Live feed. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on Caleigh 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
What's more important, your identity or your image? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. If you look at how many of us live our lives, you would think the answer is clear: image. Your image is how you're viewed by others. We spend so much time creating our image with our house, our car, our clothes, our friends, just so people will see us in a certain way. Sometimes it's real, sometimes it's not. But your identity is what's really important. Your identity lies in who you are, not in what you do or don't do. That's what gives you value. You are a masterpiece created by God with immeasurable dignity and worth. For more, check out my blog at markmerrill.com. And remember, your family first.
Want to connect with Mark on Facebook? You can at facebook.com/markmerrill.
Made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Guide Right Jonesboro Kappa League, a non-profit organization that guides young men to a life of achievement. Kappa League Jonesboro on Facebook, Jonesboro_Kappa League on Instagram, and Jonesboro Kappa League at gmail.com.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
I'm jumping in with my clothes on.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
KLEK thanks Charles and Candace Mabry and the staff of Mabry Smokehouse for their support of KLEK and dedication to the Jonesboro community. Mabry's offers Texas-style barbecue, beef brisket, pulled pork, ribs, rib tips, chicken wings, smoked sausage, barbecue fries and nachos, sides, and desserts. Located 1504 Red Wolf Boulevard, Jonesboro. Open 11 to 8, Tuesday through Thursday, Friday and Saturday. More info, Mabry Smokehouse on Facebook.
KLEK thanks the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com. Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center, offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, Jonesboro.com.
The Office of Diversity and Community Engagement at Arkansas State University, under the leadership of Dr. Maurice Gibson, is a proud supporter of KLEK and is dedicated to finding innovative ways to advance their mission of creating a diverse and inclusive environment, conducive to educating, enhancing, and enriching lives, uplifting various and diverse groups on the A-State campus, and striving to maintain Arkansas State University a place that is inclusive to all individuals, regardless of origin, color, religion, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. More information about the Arkansas State University Office of Diversity and Community Engagement is available at www.astate.edu/diversity and 870-972-3081.
Major key alert. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
Welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with my special guest, Mrs. Caleigh Parker, and Miss Ashley. And what is your last name, Miss Ashley, or do you want to share?
Mejia.
Mejia, okay.
I always pronounce it wrong, so that's why she looked at me.
I'm glad she did. I was looking at her book. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to mess that up. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into Arrow Adoptions, the program. Well, I keep calling it a program.
It is a program.
Okay,
it is a program, yes.
Okay, so I want to go through some more information here. Let's talk about why on your flyer or your brochure, it says why choose Arrow, who we help, and how we help. You've gone through that a little bit, but I'd like you to just expound on that.
Yes, so there are two sides of Arrow Adoptions.
Okay.
And so there is the birth parent, expecting parent side,
okay,
and then there's the adoptive parent side. And so there are two different routes, as you can imagine,
okay,
that the trainings and the help that each would need.
Okay.
And so the reason that you would choose Arrow Adoption as a birth or expecting mother is if you wanted a personal, you wanted someone to walk side by side with you through this pregnancy. Like I said, I gave an example. If DHS is on your door and you're just, you are feeling defeated, just because you meet with me, it doesn't mean I'm going to show up and take your child right then. Let's talk about the options that you have, besides your children going into foster care.
Okay.
Foster care is needed. It is a needed thing, but in every situation, it doesn't fit. And so there's the birth parent, expecting parent side, but then there's also the adoptive parent side we haven't discussed much.
Okay.
And so with the adoptive parent side, our goal is to make adoption affordable for every household. If it is a true calling from God that you are wanting to adopt, we want to try to make that happen for you. And we don't want you to think this is going to cost $30,000-$40,000. And that's if you Google right now, how much is the cost of a private adoption in Arkansas, that's what's going to pop up, $30,000. And so we want to make that, we want to help provide scholarships for adoptive parents. We want to keep our costs down as an agency, as a nonprofit agency, but as a program, and we want to provide ethical services. We don't say, hey, you're coming to us, it's going to be $8,000. We don't say that. We charge by the exact service. So if that mom comes to me and she gives birth tomorrow, then it's going to be a very inexpensive adoption because I don't have an overall blanket fee. Does that make sense?
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I only worked with her for maybe a couple days. Sometimes I'm called directly to the hospital. Sometimes the baby's already here. And so with that situation, I don't provide a lot of services to that mother. And so adoption doesn't have to be a really big, expensive ordeal. And so that's what we're trying to raise the education, and we're trying to let people know, hey, it's not out of reach. Come talk to us.
Okay. And you say you've been operating for 2 years now?
Well, we just launched the nonprofit.
Okay.
I've been functioning under the law firm specifically, and since September 3 years ago. And so we've just been kind of doing like that to make it a legal adoption process. I would have to work under a law firm, so that's how we've been operating. But we just launched March 1st with Arrow.
Well, in that time frame, have you had any, I know we hear the good side, all the positive stories, but have you unfortunately encountered any bad situation? Well, I say bad as in unpleasant, or something, maybe the birth mom decided this is not what they want to do. They made it harder for the adoptive parent to, go through and finalize the process.
Honestly, no. And so we do not consider, if a birth mom is saying, an expecting mother, she says, I don't want this, that is her right. And we let her know that from the beginning. We try to have a level of confidence with our mothers that we know that this is really what they want before we would bring in an adoptive parent. But we don't necessarily. Now, is there heartbreak? Yes. Is there experience that it's hard? Yes. But a specific example, we had a mom and a dad decide to parent 5 days after the baby was born. We do not see that as a negative thing. If we should never be mad at anyone for wanting to raise their own child. Is there heartbreak in that? Yes. But a beautiful relationship came out of that specific instance where the adoptive mom, the birth mom, they came together, and they meet all the time, and it's a kind of a die to self. Yes, she wanted that baby, but it wasn't God's timing. And so adoption is, from an adoptive parent perspective, it's a die to self situation. It's not about you. It is about what's best for the child and what's best for the birth parents.
Okay. All right then. And then I'm looking on your brochure, and you list your services. So let's go through and you talked about each one a little bit before. In the time we have, let's kind of break down, what is involved for those that are listening who really want some more information. And if they are facing a decision like this, they know they'll feel more confidence in, okay, let me go talk to Miss Caleigh and, have a sit down, and they'll have more information.
A lot of women come to me and they're like, I've not been anywhere. I've not been to the doctor. I don't have a confirmed pregnancy. That's usually our first step. So are you willing to do that? Some are not. and we work through that.
Okay.
But we believe it's the best for the health of both the baby and the mother.
Okay.
And so prenatal care is a big, a big first step there. If they're in Jonesboro, they choose where they want to go. Sometimes they would rather go to options and have a free pregnancy test. Sometimes it's the health clinic. Sometimes it's let's just go straight to the doctor and get it over with.
Okay.
Sometimes it's sneak a peek. Let's find out if this baby, it's about to be born. Can you help us? And so it's a lot of referrals.
Okay.
Counseling was on that. Housing referrals. We can help with that. We can help you figure out your housing needs. As far as food, different things, your basic needs.
Okay.
Let us help you. Is it daycare for your child? You're just stressed out. You need to. Let's go get a voucher. It's just pretty much knowing what's already set in place, but how can we help you get those things moving down the track?
Okay. And I see on here there's a birthing support and then a birthing plan. Now, with the birthing plan, sometimes some mothers don't want to go to a hospital. They want to do a home birth.
Yes.
So is that also included?
That is not
Okay.
as of now.
Okay.
I'm not birthing any babies yet, Miss Quabila. But I am working on my doula certificate, so I can be more helpful in the birth, in the room.
Okay.
It's not that I want to take over or be in charge. I just want to be able to provide more comfort for those moms during that time. A lot of times I'm their only support, so it's me and it's her. Let's do this. And so I want to be able to find. We use aromatherapy in the room.
Oh, wow.
That works really well, and so I'm working on being more educated about that part, because here I am. I found out I'm here. I decided in those 12 or plus hours that I'm there, I can do more than just pray and hold a hand, so that's what I'm working on.
And it feels like, and it sounds like you're bringing a new face, a new atmosphere to adoptions. We've seen stories from the 50s, 60s, whatever time, decade ago, and it was babies born, babies whisked away, and it's like a total disconnect between the birthing parent and the adoptive family, and it's like that's the end of the story. Now you're trying to let's make this more of an engaging, enriching experience, because there are feelings and emotions involved on both sides. One family, like in your case, you're having to give up your baby, and another family's having to take a baby, and I'm sure there's some thoughts about, I'm taking this baby from this other parent. I'm sure there's some thoughts on the adoptive parent side.
Yes. A lot of our adoptive parents, they're texting me so much asking about the birth mothers. After you watch a mother give birth for your family, there's just a level of connection that you cannot make up, or you can't just provide. It naturally happens. And so the new face on adoption, as you call it, is let's keep those relationships open.
Okay.
We feel like there's boundaries. Believe me,
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
boundaries. There's a group message with me involved. There's mediation. There's different things, but you have it's more healthy for both set of parents and the child someday. One, for the child not to be lied to. You're adopted. You had a mother that loved you very much, and knowing her situation little by little as they can, and then maybe they can remember meeting their mother, or here's a picture of your mother.
Okay.
It is the most healthy and less traumatic for the child.
That's really awesome. And sometimes we hear stories that is not always the case. Children have to hear about their birth parents in a unexpected way, or not so healthy, not so positive way. I heard a story about a lady who found out about her birth mom and her birthing story by way of getting into an argument with someone else, and the way the information came out was so horrific that no one should have to find out how they were birthed in that way.
Right,
right. And the whole situation surrounding their story.
Right, and so we believe from birth is when that starts. You always tell the child their story, but you don't tell other people the child's story.
Okay.
The child will know, and they are able to share with their story any way they want and when they are ready and if they ever want to. My girls are very different. My oldest loves to tell everyone she's adopted. It's her favorite thing. Hey, she just loves to brag about it. But her sister gets mad at her because she tells people at school she's adopted. Well, she said, that's my business. Don't tell my business. And that is her right. That is her right to not, share that. And she'll share that story if and when she's ready someday. But it's hard when you have an older sister that wants to share to everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's just an example of the two differences that a child may grow up and, view an adoption.
See also on the list, support groups. So speaking of the children having their own thoughts and feelings about it, right now, are there support groups for the moms,
the birth moms? Yes.
The birth moms.
So this is what we're starting. I sent you the graphic, and it's on the arrow page. On National Birth Mothers Day, which is the day before Mother's Day, National Birth Mothers Day, we are having a breakfast here in Jonesboro, and all birth mothers from Northeast Arkansas, all Arkansas, wherever you're from, if you've placed a child for adoption, you're welcome to attend.
Okay.
So out of that, we hope to someday make a support group out of that. So the birth mothers, that's the first meeting place for the birth mothers. They can come, they can see the similarities. You're not alone in this. And then we're hoping to birth, no pun intended, out of that a support group for birth mothers.
Now, Ms. Ashley, will you be doing any speaking or anything, or do you see yourself stepping up into a support role at some point? I'm not trying to pick on you, but you're here with us. Do you see yourself stepping up and not necessarily sharing more of your story, but just being a support, an ear, a shoulder for other moms that are going through the process?
Yes, I would, because I've had two different experiences, so I think I could relate to a lot more different birth moms. I have a relationship with one family and it's so open and everything, and then I have another one where it's just shut out. And so I'm trying to learn to deal with that, because like she said, it is hard. And I want to stress that it's very important to try to keep that open communication up between an adoptive family and the birth family, because in the long run, it is important. And a lot of times birth mothers aren't giving up their child because they don't love them or they don't want them. It's all for different reasons. And it's very important for a child to know that, because when a child gets older, the one thing that I would want from my families is to make sure that you let them know that they do have a birth mother that loves them. Mm-hmm. And I think about and love them every day. Like, that will never change. And so I would love to, like I said, I have different experience and stuff, and so different emotions, and I'm dealing with it. And I think this last adoption, it was a very great outcome, and it helped me a lot. And it was because of the relationship that I have with the adoptive family that I've become the woman that I am today. And I'm so open about this, because at first I wasn't. And so for me to be able to write about it and talk about it more, I would love to be there for other birth moms, because I've felt it all emotionally, and I've done where I wanted to adopt and then decided to parent as well. So it's just so many levels that I can connect with different birth moms. So I would love to start a support group and to
We're
be
putting
there
her in charge, Miss Kubila.
Well, I'm going to stay tuned and keep us informed on what all happens. We would love to, follow the stories and just follow the agency. We'll definitely have to have you come back, Ms. Kate.
We're excited.
This is your first time with this, so you definitely be a repeat yet.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Now, I do want to ask this. A thought came to mind. Okay, when anyone is trying to do something positive, there's always those that see the negative or see another side of this, Okay, I'm sure you received some pushback, some naysayers, something, so tell us what, without giving away, I guess, who, what, when, where, just what have been some of the pushback and negative and some of the not so pleasant things you've heard when you announced your agency?
The biggest thing is there are anti-adoption groups, large groups of people in America, and that has been the biggest pushback. And they believe that we take babies and that's all we care about, and that is why I want to do radio shows. I want to put it out there on social media. That is not us. We have just as many moms that have placed for adoption that we're working with that decided to parent, and that we help. One of our families that we love that chose to parent, they had a house fire, and they got their and so they thought they may just need to choose adoption because they didn't have any resources. And we don't ever want anyone to choose adoption because of the lack of resources. And so they got their apartment today, their new apartment, and we're helping them move in. Like, we love them, like she braided my girl's hair last week, like, let's do it. And so those things get us excited as well. We love to see both sides. We love to see situations like Ashley, the open adoption, just functioning and being healthy. And then we love to see parents. We love to see them parenting their children and succeeding and walking alongside of them as well. So the groups that are anti-adoption, we want you to know we are supporting both sides. We're not dropping them like it's hot when they decide to parent.
Okay. We have some more people checking in and commented. Good morning to Sergeant Nathan Coleman, Jessica McKeeston, sorry. And then Mr. Kobe says, great job, ladies. Caleigh Parker, hey, boo. Proud of you.
Oh,
proud of you. Go to work, Kobe. Okay, but thank you for real for checking in. And I hope that everyone listening and watching is taking away something from this conversation. And I hope that your phone lines are flooded with either people wanting to help or just people, having more questions and wanting to get the right information versus just kind of going off their own knowledge about the situation, about adoptions. And I'm loving hearing that you are super supportive from beginning to end, no matter what stage of the pregnancy you come in on or what stage of the conversation you are called in on. You are there to help everyone, the adoptive family and the birth mother. I do want to ask this, have you ever encountered any fathers on the expectant side? Have you had any fathers say, I don't want that? Like, the mother has made a decision, but the fathers have said, I want to keep my child, or,
Fathers have just as much rights as mothers do. Okay. So if they are choosing to parent, then they parent. There's no way to manipulate that, no way to change their mind with that. If they decide to parent, then yes, they do that.
And so we'll just have to get into that in a moment. When we come back, we're going to get ready to take another quick break. You're tuned in to Community Conversations on Caleigh 102.5 FM with my special guest, Miss Caleigh Parker and Miss Ashley. Oh, please say your last name. Mahia. Thank you. And we'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on Caleigh 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Saving for your retirement now is the most significant wealth building move you can make for your long-term financial security. And if your employer offers a 401k plan, you need to contribute to the max because it allows you to defer paying taxes until you withdraw the funds in retirement. But suppose your employer offers a Roth 401k in addition to the traditional 401k option. The primary difference between a Roth 401k and a traditional 401k is that you pay tax on Roth contributions as you're making them, so you'll get to withdraw your money tax-free in retirement. What's the best way to go? It's about looking at your current and potential earning power and retirement goals and deciding whether you want to pay taxes now or later. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I knew right then that she was special.
That's just one adoption story that started at a shelter. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
2020 Census is coming this month, so be on the lookout for your invitation in the mail. Once it arrives, you should respond in one of 3 ways: online, over the phone, or by mail. The results of the census are very important, not just for our country, but for Jonesboro, too.
The results affect our electoral districts and decide whether they need to be adjusted based upon an increase or decrease in population.
They also help to make informed decisions about allocating hundreds of billions of dollars in federal funding to communities across the country like Jonesboro. Money that goes to things like
hospitals and healthcare to provide you with better services.
Our schools, so that students receive a good education,
as well as free and reduced lunches for those in need.
Grant funding for housing improvements and public infrastructure.
Fire departments and other public safety services, so we can be best prepared for emergencies.
And our roads, so we can improve them and build new ones.
Your information is completely safe. The Census Bureau can't release any information about you, your home, or your business, even to law enforcement agencies.
So you can ensure that your information will not be used against you, even if you are a non-citizen in the United States. Non-citizens and immigrants of all statuses should complete the Census 2020. Everyone counts.
I count.
I count.
I count.
We all count.
Jesus looked at them and said, "With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." Matthew 19:26. With a motto of invest in your future, not your landlord's, Sonia Sanders Realtor is there for you throughout the entire process, whether buying or selling a home. Listings and other information is available at soldinjonesboro.com, Sonia Sanders Realtor on Facebook, or 870-275-8712. KLEK 102.5 FM salutes small businesses. Small businesses promote local character and success, keeping money in the local economy, local jobs, entrepreneurship, community well-being, and so much more. Contact us today to learn more on how your small business could be featured on KLEK for as little as $25 per month. Shout out to St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Perry Jackson, pastor, 716 East Washington, Jonesboro. Sunday school, 9:30 a.m., Wednesday prayer, 6 a.m., Wednesday Bible study, 6:30 p.m. We enter to worship and depart to serve.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's perfect. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
In 95, I helped tow your trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on Caleigh 102.5 FM with my special guest, Miss Caleigh and Miss Ashley. I know this is a very hard conversation sometimes to have, talking about adoptions, but I am very grateful for you all being here talking about Arrow adoptions and just the work that you're trying to do, and then the support you're trying to provide for the families on both sides of this issue. And we're having a talk off air, and so we're gonna just rip this Band-Aid off. You know, we live in a society where race is prevalent. We cannot overlook it. You know, there are many people who say that I don't see color, but we have to see color. We have to recognize each other's differences. It's, you know, it's a matter of how you treat the other person. That's the key thing. But however, going forward, there are families who, on the birth side, who want their child raised in a like environment, or with a family who shares their same identity, their ethnic identity, and there are families who want to adopt a child who is their same ethnic identity. So with that being said, you know, there is a need, and you know, we've heard this even in the foster care system, there is a need for more ethnic diversity, more specifically, more Black families. We're just going to say it. You know, we need people to step up and say, okay, I am willing to take this child in. I am willing to go through the process and provide a loving and warm and caring environment for a child that looks like me, especially if that is the birth parent's request. Yes. So we're putting this out there, and it's not, again, trying to pit one race of people, one person against another. These are requests that are being made known. There are families of one ethnic group that say this is what we want to adopt. There are one group of families who say this is who we want our children to go to. So if you are open and you have the resources, the home, the whatever is needed to adopt a child, you know, that looks like you, please reach out to Miss Caleigh. If you are looking to adopt a child that looks like you, reach out to Miss Caleigh and the Arrow Adoptions Agency. It is a nonprofit agency. So, and it's faith-based. And so you can be reassured that Miss Caleigh is going to handle your case with love and care and the love of Christ.
Yes. You know, we want birth moms they come to us with all requests for their families. Some's gender and some are different things. And so that's what we would want to honor.
All right, so again, we thank you all so very much for being here.
Thank you, Ms. Quabila.
In our last 2 minutes, any final words from either one of you ladies?
I just got a message from my the adoptive mother, and I just want to say I love you too, Mallory.
Thank you.
And I promise Sylvia, I love you, Sylvia. That's my daughter.
Awesome.
Yeah, just make sure if you have any questions, just because you contact me, it doesn't mean we're signing papers.
Okay.
Let's talk. You just contact me and let's talk. I would be willing to talk through your situation, and let's see what kind of help we can get you.
All right. Do you have social media pages where they can also reach out to you?
Yes. Right now, the Arrow Adoptions Facebook page is up and going. The website will be there soon. And our text number is on there, 710, I always forget the last, 7872. And so you can text me to my birth line, and any questions confidentially there.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for coming on, and we definitely will have you back again.
Thank
and
you.
Hope to see you at many of our community events. We hope that people start reaching out and talking to you. This is not an easy process on both sides, and it's an emotionally hard process. I should say that it's an emotionally hard process on both sides, and so I'm happy that you're here to provide, some ease and comfort along the way for those involved.
That's our goal.
All righty. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us today. I hope everyone has a great, blessed, and happy Friday the 13th. Again, if you believe in all that jazz. So anyway, I know there's a lot going on in our communities and around the globe, but please, everybody, just stay in prayers, keep your heads up, and have a great and blessed weekend.